In the studio with us, the legendary Smokey Robinson, who has a CD that's out. It came out not too long ago called Smokey and Friends, right?
Yes, exactly.
You can get that right now, but you are here because you're going to be honored at the 12th Annual Music Cares Map Fund Tribute Concert. They're going to honor you. You do a lot of work with this organization, which I didn't really know about. This Music Cares Foundation offers programs and services to members of the music community, including emergency financial assistance for basic living expenses such as rent and utilities and car payments and medical expenses. That's a great organization to be a part of.
It's a great organization. Thank God for Music Cares.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I knew about Music Cares, but I was a little confused about how do you determine who gets to be like how do they determine who gets
like if I pick up a violin today, can I get a benefit?
How do you determine who gets the benefits of the Music Cares Foundation? You know,
I think that musicians and singers or whoever's involved in that, you have to be in a union.
Okay, got it.
So I'm sure that's where they get the information from.
That's where they get the information.
Yeah, but it's such a great organization. I mean, there are so many musicians and people who have been in show business who have been taken advantage of.
Yes.
By the scalpers and the hawks out there, you know, and many of them are in need, and so Music Cares is there for those who are in need and for those who have been afflicted by addictions, drug addictions, alcohol, what have you, and are trying to be in a recovery program. Music Cares is there and has their backs, and it's a great organization.
You've been in the music business for forever, since forever. Since forever. How about that?
I thought you were gonna say some years.
Since forever.
Yeah, okay.
Since you mouthed the word blah blah blah. You know, music was you, right? Why is it? Because the Music Cares Foundation does have a drug addiction program. Why do you think sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Why is that so prevalent? The whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Oh, okay, baby. Let me tell you something.
Bring it on down. You got the baby out.
That bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
That people think that sex, drugs, and rock and roll is confined to show business. You see, because it's not. It's everywhere. I mean, it's in politics. It's everywhere. Somehow or other, since the people who are in show business live under this microscope. You know, you live under a microscope.
Right.
A person in show business could go, an average Joe who is not in show business, a person who just has a regular job, whatever, could go down to the Capitol building and pee on the front steps. People might not say anything about that. Somebody in show business goes down and they spit the same place as got peed, and it's a big news issue, because you live under a microscope. So anything you do is magnified. Everything that you do. So they attributed sex, drugs, and rock and roll to entertainment.
When everybody's having sex.
Everybody's having sex. Yeah. Everybody's doing drugs.
and everybody loves rock and roll.
So, yeah.
Well, Tammy wouldn't know about that. She don't do none of that. So. Including the sex part.
Wait a minute. How you said that like you know that from experience?
He did say that like that.
Like you're very aware of that. How did you know that?
Well, we've worked together for a number of years.
And
we talked.
Talked. Oh, I see. Talk. It's been a conversation.
Don't get Smokey started up in here now. This brother can go.
She don't drink. She don't do drugs. The sex part is questionable. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
This interview is about Smokey Robinson.
Okay, all right.
No. This was interesting. I want to hear this part.
Well, it's great that. So, do you go speak to some of the addicts or the people who are in rehab trying to fix their lives, or how do you help in the fundraising capacity?
I do, man. And I have done that for years because I went through 2 years of that myself. Mm-hmm. You see, and around 1984, I decided that I wanted to try that, and so I went through 2 years of that, and I was a walking corpse. And in 1986, I went to this church and I was prayed for. And I always say that I was healed from it rather than cured or any of that. Mm-hmm. I was healed. And I do believe that it is a spiritual affliction. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's just a physical thing. You know, it's so heavy and it's so heavy duty. It's a spiritual affliction. And if you don't get your spiritual self together as far as it's concerned, you are never going to beat it. I go and I speak everywhere. Mm-hmm. I speak in churches. I speak at rehab, graduations, and all that. And one of the things that I tell the people is that if you really want to beat this, you have got to spiritually beat this, because
it's bigger than you. Like
absolutely. And I don't think that there's anything that you can take and actually hand it over to God that He can't handle.
You know
what I mean?
I want to commend you though. I went to an AA meeting with a friend of mine, who's in recovery, and the level. I don't know, just sitting in that room and listening to all these people have these stories. There's a lot of courage to go and say, I got a problem and I need some help. And I'm grateful for people like you to come in and say, hey, there's a way out. I've been there. I understand.
Absolutely.
And it is absolutely right. It is a spiritual thing where you got to say, listen, I have a problem and I have to kind of let this over to a higher power. Let me find some structure for my life so that I can work my way out of this addiction process and let me change.
Absolutely.
It is an actual process, but it's a great thing that people like you are out there that are helping these people up, because a lot of these people, they feel lost and they feel just out of place and like nobody loves them and like, they've been thrown away.
Absolutely.
They're in the gutter, and it's just like, it's great that people like you will come in and say, hey, there's a way out.
And many of them, people get to the point where they feel like they're the only ones who are suffering like this. No, you're not. And drugs do not discriminate.
They do not discriminate.
They don't care who you are or what you're doing. When I started, man, it wasn't like I was young. I was a young man. I was with, I had a career going that I couldn't have even written my life any better than it was going. But I opened that door, and they came in. So they come in wherever they are invited.
Well, what made you open the door? Was it just living too much in excess?
No. I'm glad you said that too. Because people think that when people start doing drugs, especially young people and young kids, they think that this deep, mysterious figure comes along and says, hey, kid, try this. Our kids are not stupid.
Like the boogeyman.
Yeah, exactly. Our kids are not stupid. They're not going to just take that. You start doing drugs with your friends, man. People say, well, if they were your friends, they wouldn't give it to you. Yes, they would.
That's what
because you're their friend and you give it back to them. You give it back. It's a trade-off. You got it, let's do it. But it's with your friends. It's with the people that you trust and people that you love and people that you feel like you can do this with, and it's going to be okay. It's not strangers and people that come up to, and start people doing drugs. So
socially it was happening.
It's cunning.
It's charming.
Cunning. It's cunning. It's sneaky. And I myself thought, okay, my life is going so great here. There's no way I could become addicted to this.
Because you're on top. You're on top.
No way I could become addicted. Wrong. Because drugs don't care. And when, like I said, when you open that door, they're coming in.
How did you know you maybe had an issue?
I knew it because I would never go get it. You know what I mean? I'd always have the dude to bring it to me. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to get caught in my
Smokey
car or
Robinson
anything
can't
like that.
do that, right?
So I knew it when it got to the point where he said, okay, ma'am, I'll be at your house at 12 noon. And if he wasn't there by 12:01, I was panicking.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, and I knew it to the point where, when you start off, everything's cool. I was cool. Everything was cool, And then you start making excuses. Well, there's a good movie coming on tonight, so I'm gonna get high. I'm gonna watch it, And then you get to the point where you say, well, I think some cars are gonna pass in front of my house today, so I'm gonna do some drugs. It's just that.
Right. You start making excuses to enable your life.
To enable your life.
Well, Smokey, you said that it's a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who say it's a chemical thing? It's a chemical reaction, and it's the chemicals that get you. Some people would disagree with the spiritual thing.
Well, I say to them that I have known people in my family who have been to rehab 10 times. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if it was chemical, they got chemical stuff. They got medicine and stuff like that they give people and so on and so forth to combat whatever the chemical thing is.
Right.
But they don't combat the spiritual part of it. And if you don't get that together, you ain't gonna make it. I mean that. Your best friend, your sister, your mother, your dad, if in fact they could take that off of you for 2 hours, a couple days, a week, they love you enough that they would suffer that, they would do that for you, but they can't. You can't take God nothing that he can't handle. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's not going to say, okay, well, if you had come last Thursday, I could have helped you. Or come back in 2 weeks, I think I might have an opening. No, it's not going to be that.
Yeah, it's not going to go down like that.
When you really take it, hand it over, that's it.
Some people say drugs make them better artists. You are the epitome of a writer. I think when people think writing, they think Smokey Robinson. When it comes to music.
Thank you.
Right?
Stevie, did you hear the Stevie? Did you say that, did you?
I hope you ain't listening. You're going to get me fired. So I'm going to be waiting for you. So did that enhance your ability to write?
You know
How
what,
did it
baby?
affect it?
There's a point in life when you start doing drugs that you think that. You think, oh man,
I get more creative.
I'm laid back, I'm more creative. And that is BS. Okay? There is nothing like a clear mind. There's nothing like a clear mind. You know?
Well, the drugs, they kind of put your emotions all over the place too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they could push you into depression. They could make
Put
you feel
you
high.
in places that you never thought you'd go. Absolutely.
You know.
Put you in places that you never thought you'd go. And like I said, I went there that one night. A friend of mine came, got me, took me to this church, a little storefront church. Pastor was a woman, and she prayed over me. And when I walked in that church, I'm telling you, I was an addict. When I came out, I was free. That was May of 1986.
Never again.
And never again. And like I said, when I gave it to God, I meant that. I gave it to him, and that's it.